Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to what is probably the first mod review of the new year. And we're starting it off checking out a brand new, really cool weapon mod known as the LAER by Alexerator. Now the LAER, also known as the Laser Assisted Electrical Rifle, comes from the Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues DLC and has since made its way into Fallout 4. Now we already have a mod for this in Fallout 4, a wonderful mod by the Rizzler, which will add an LAER into the game, but Alexerator wanted to do their own take. Now, funny enough, this actually does use the same animations from the original LAER mod by Haru. Originally, Alexerator was just going to use vanilla animations, but quite frankly, an LAER wouldn't look quite right without its classic reload style, so taking Haru's animations for this mod was definitely the best choice. Now, I know some of you are already thinking, what's the point of trying out this mod if we already have the Rizzler's LAER? Well, this one does have its differences. First of all, Alexerator was trying to go for a more quote-unquote lore-friendly aesthetic when it comes to this weapon. Now, don't get me wrong, the Rizzler's version is already very lore-friendly, but Alexerator was really trying to mimic the classic style from Fallout New Vegas, down to the colors and shapes and everything. Now, these weapons will look pretty similar. I'm actually going to compare them later in the video, but let's just focus on Alexerators for now. In all honesty, I think Alexerator did do a pretty good job matching the classic aesthetic of the Fallout New Vegas version. Having those nice bright whites and golds are very cool and definitely has a nice nostalgic feel to it. Additionally, there's a handful of attachments as well that will harken back to some of the classic parts from New Vegas, not necessarily in reference to the LAER, but you can get sort of a classic laser rifle scope on this thing, as well as some nice wood furniture, which I know a lot of you retro weapon fans are going to enjoy. But one thing that definitely sets this mod apart from the Rizzlers is the way that you actually obtain it. The Rizzler's LAER is actually added to leveled lists and can be found all over the place, especially in the hands of the Institute. But in Alexerator's mod, this weapon is actually a unique. It is one of a kind. If you want to get your hands on the one and only LAER in Alexerator's mod, you're going to need to head over to the Federal Supply Cache 84NE, which is buried away in the glowing sea. From there, head inside the bunker and take a left and you will find a locked door. Once inside, you'll see a cache from Big Mountain, which requires a key. There's also a dead body next to the cache with a note that says, "I got the key." Upon reading the "I have the key" note, you'll find that Henry has taken the key over to CIT so that he can sell it to the Pre-War Institute in order to reverse engineer the rifles. But Henry didn't quite make it, so if you want to actually find the location of the key, you're going to need to head just to the right of CIT. So here is CIT, and here is a broken bridge. This is where you need to go. From there, as you head down into the water, you'll find a busted down van with a Big Mountain crate inside of it, which happens to be empty. This is important for later. Then you'll see Henry here who has the Big Mountain crate key. So we're going to grab that and head back over to the bunker from before. Now back inside of the bunker, we can open up our Big Mountain delivery crate, and inside we will find two of the LAER by Alexerator. Now, for those of you who are still trying to decide whether or not you want to use this one or the one by the Rizzler, I will go into the differences between the two later on in the video, but first, I have an additional solution. Since this is intended to be sort of a unique version of the weapon, don't know why it showed a holotape there, maybe the LAER by Alexerator is a unique, the original Big Mountain version of the LAER, and the one by the Rizzler, since it is added to the Institute leveled lists, has actually been reverse engineered, hence the empty crate over on the bridge. And so now you can have both versions in your game at the same time. Alexerator's being a unique that does a little bit more damage, and the Rizzler's being the repurposed one remade by the Institute using the original design. In my opinion, that's a really cool way to integrate both of them into your game in a really lore-friendly way. But for those of you who just want one, or maybe you're fighting for mod space, let's take a look at these both side by side. The one on the left being the version by Alexerator, and the one on the right being by the Rizzler. In my opinion, these could both be from the same mod, hence why I suggest using Alexerators as a unique version. But in case you want to look at both of them, here's what they are side by side in the same environment, and in my opinion, they both look great, so it's really just down to your preference. Let's also have a look at them in first person, checking out the animations. Now, they both do use the same animations by Haru, but let's start off with Alexerator since that's what we are reviewing today. As you can see, this one does have its own nice take on iron sights that are very simple, and I gotta say I do like this thing. Here's a look at the sounds and also the reload animation on this weapon. And for those of you who need a refresher, here's a look at the LAER by the Rizzler. As you can see, a much different color scheme with some silvers and reds and a totally different style of iron sights. It's very interesting, almost sort of steampunky in my opinion, but still very, very cool. It also has some custom sounds and of course those awesome animations by Haru. Now, I just want to be clear, I'm not trying to sway you in one way or the other in regards to which of these you should use. By all means, please use your own personal preference to pick which one you like. But, again, I'd highly recommend using them both. I think they totally work together, and they honestly integrate pretty well into the Commonwealth at the same time. Now then, let's finish out the review on Alexerator's LAERs. That is the purpose of this video. Starting off with the stats for this thing, this guy has a base damage of 50 energy damage, which actually is higher than the Rizzler's, again, making a case for it being a good unique. This thing uses fusion cells, of course, has a fire rate of 34 in semi-automatic, a range of 203, an accuracy of 77, a weight of 9.5 pounds, and a value of 749 caps, which is pretty balanced. Even though it is a lot, you're only going to be able to find 2 of these out in the Commonwealth, so I think that's just fine. Now then, let's talk about attachments for Alexerator's LAER. This thing does have a handful of upgrades, including brand new capacitors from standard all the way up to exceptional. These won't change the look of the weapon at all, but they will give you a nice damage increase up to a maximum of 110 compared to the standard 50. Over double damage. That's pretty great, and you can stack that with perks, of course. For barrels, we have a handful of barrels that give you different options. We have the standard barrel, which is going to be your standard LAER laser, and then we also have a splitter barrel, which is going to function like a shotgun with 8 projectiles. We have the marksman barrel, which is going to give you even more damage than the standard barrel, and then a charged barrel, which is going to give you even more damage than that with fuck you. Fuck you. And then we have the charged barrel, which is going to give you even more damage than that and increased range, making for an ultimate sort of sniper barrel. Now then, for stocks, we have the standard full stock, which has that cool classic laser rifle style. We also have the comfort stock, which is going to give you more of a polymer look, so it's going to be nice and lightweight. And then we have a marksman stock, which is going to be much heavier, and it's going to be in the form of a nice full wood stock, which definitely looks pretty cool on this weapon. For batteries, we have the standard battery, which is going to be your regular old magazine capacity. We have the eco battery, which gives you even more shots. And then we have the rewired housing, which is going to give you even more than that, but it's going to reduce your overall damage. And then finally, we have the sight section. So you have the option for the standard sights, which is actually no sights at all. We have the iron sights that we saw earlier, the reflex sight, the short scope, the long scope, the medium scope, the short recon scope, and the long recon scope. And to get a better look at these scopes, let's go ahead and rotate this thing around. As you can see, it's reminiscent of the classic laser rifle scope, but it has its own cool, unique design, which is pretty dang interesting. And now then, it is of course time for a damage test to see how this weapon actually performs in combat. Apologies, we're not in our regular set. I'm still working on getting the new save up and running for the new year. It's been a busy past couple of days. Anyways, let's go ahead and test this thing out. We'll be doing one test with the standard version of the LAER with no attachments and no perks, and then we'll be doing a second test to see how it does fully upgraded. Now, we're gonna do this in reverse. I just noticed that the Deathclaw on the left here is legendary, so it has a bit more health. So we'll switch to the upgraded one for that guy. Let's just see how the standard version of the weapon does for now. And in only 8 shots, that's pretty good for an energy weapon considering Deathclaws have a pretty high energy resistance. So 8 shots with no attachments and no perks. Let's see how this thing does fully upgraded. And even though that was a legendary variant of the Deathclaw, we only put him down in 5 shots. It would have been 3 if he wasn't legendary, so that's pretty dang crazy. That's quite an upgrade for this weapon. Again, making a good case for a unique version of the Rizzler's LAER. Let's see what we got from that legendary. Nice, a pipe wrench. Great job, Fallout 4. So yeah, that is the LAER by Alexerator. A couple of side notes about this mod: it is currently only on PC, but it will have a port to Xbox sometime very, very soon, so just stay tuned for that. Now again, this was not intended to be a comparison to tell you which version of the LAER is better. In my opinion, you should definitely pick up both, having the Rizzlers as a common version of the weapon and Alexerators as a unique version. I think it fares pretty well, considering that it has the nice classic design from Big Mountain, and it does have increased damage. I think having both of these together is a pretty cool combo. But hey, if you decide that you only want one or the other, there is a little bonus here. Alexerators doesn't actually require the original one by the Rizzler. While they do share animations, it is not a dependency, so you can download either of these standalone. You don't have to download both, so choose whichever one you prefer, though again, I'll be going with both. I think that's pretty much everything with this mod. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to try it, it will be linked down in the description below, and whenever the Xbox link does drop, I'll be adding that to the description box as well. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating. It really helps out the channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. A big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And of course, a very special thank you to Avian4, Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Cushy, Logan, Rigmaiden, Mikerhan, Moonlit Gamer, Feed, Scott, Timmy76, YouthRC, and Voider for joining that Tier 3 Patreon membership. If you'd like to support the channel over on Patreon, you can do so using the link down in the description, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!